fellow officers, the representatives of Federation of Indian Exporters Organization, the Kochi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the custom brokers organizations in Bangalore and Kerala. I'm happy to be with all of you today. The efforts of DGTS in organizing these online programs on topical issues is really brilliant, and a lot of value is generated from these sessions. Customs, as you all understand, has a difficult task of balancing the regulatory and facilitative roles, which we have been doing, and the use of IT technology has come in very handy on this front. Increasingly, we are shifting towards the facilitation role, with the keeping in view the larger objective of improving the ease of doing business in India. Over the years, during our course of association, we have understood how customs functioning has resulted in facilitation of trade. The system of faceless assessment is one further step in that process. As my colleague from DGTS mentioned, 98% of the trade at Indian borders is through the online mode. We have our own framework of risk analysis of how we assess the shipments, export or import, based on our own algorithms, and how we ensure that with the minimum physical intervention, we are able to let the trade goods move in or go out at the shortest possible time. To that extent, we have always considered our stakeholders as our partners in our joint effort to improve the ease of doing business and also to help our country grow. So I'm sure a lot will be learned and exchanged during the session today. I'm particularly happy to at least see the members from Cochin Chamber of Commerce and the Cochin Custom Broker Association online. That's the only way we have met so far. I assume that probably the customs functioning in Kerala zone is so efficient that there are no issues required to be brought to our notice, which is a satisfying situation. I look forward to a healthy interaction and an educative session. And I once again thank DGTS for taking the initiative of organizing these sessions periodically, where we are all able to come resolve our issues and learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, to inaugurate this webinar program, we have Srimati V. Usha IRS, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Bengaluru Zone. I request Madam to kindly address the gathering with the inaugural address. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for having me to inaugurate your webinar on faceless assessment and the changes. I'm also happy to note that Federation of Indian Export Organization Southern Region is present along with its members, the Cochin Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and the Customers Agents of Bangalore, Cochin and Mangalore. A warm welcome to all of you, and I'm happy that you're all engaged in these aspects. I would like to take you back in time by about 2 decades, and this is The reason I'm doing it is because faceless assessment was something which was conceptualized and thought about and talked about and debated extensively in the Directorate of Systems in 2000 for the first 4 years of this century, let me put it that way. And we were 4 additional commissioners who were very, very keen to get our processes digitized, rolled out, and available to ourselves. Because end of the day, if you decide to join the private sector and work in this area, then you would like your processes to be state of the art, and it is the best thing that we can give ourselves. We are in a position to be in the department and brainstorm and implement some of these concepts, and we'll also be able to benefit from it if we were to move outside the department. So from that perspective, it is a matter of accomplishment, though I don't think I have contributed much to the setting up of the faceless assessment system. I feel very proud and very privileged that our department has something as futuristic as this. I will not take too much of your time. There will be so many other speakers who are better informed and who can take you through the nuances of faceless assessment. I will leave it to them. But what I would like to add is that what I would like to present to you is faceless assessment came out in 2020, and this was very well thought out even before it was rolled out. So you had groups of commissionerates put under a national assessment convener of which was the chief commissioner and the convener for NAC 1A, which looks after petroleum products. And I know that we have already created a virtual zone. We have 7 different commissionerates. Each such NAC takes care of multiple commissionerates. So you have a virtual zone. With faceless assessment, you've created a virtual commissionerate. This was the point of arrival. We were all brainstorming 20 years ago. So this is something which is real, even before, while I'm still in service. So it's a matter of great import for the department as well. There are still a number of glitches that we like to address and that we constantly keep making changes to address. And it has become so rapid that the changes are, that the problems are brought to the notice of the board and systems, and they very rapidly make the corrections, course corrections, to make it a seamless experience for the taxpayers. It's not perfect, it never will be. We always want more, and so that is the way it should be as well. The way forward is what I would also like you to just mention so that you are all aware of it. The board has set up working groups to look after, to identify the manual processes that are currently there in the customs processes for air customs, sea customs, as well as land customs, to look at the manual processes in audit as well as in preventive activities, as well as another separate group to look at any other processes which are not covered by these 4 groups. The basic idea is to interact with stakeholders, get inputs for complete seamless digitization of all processes and sub-processes, and to provide a dashboard, a digital dashboard to the taxpayer, so that the taxpayer can look at the bills of entries, the bonds, the show cause notices, the adjudications, and see what is the current status in all these activities. Look at the bank guarantees they have when they file it, get the approvals from the bank online, so that it becomes a much more seamless process, much more state of the art. It is also proposed in these working groups to incorporate digital examination using videography and a personal hearing, which you will also be able to capture and record it as a session integrate it into your PH record, and make it as digital as possible. So in this context, we'll also be, since I'm looking after the working group for air customs, I would request you all to look at the manual processes which are still there, which you would like to be digitized, and email us, either Kajal, who is our Principal Commissioner Airport and Air Cargo, or me at the CCO website, CCO email address, so that we can incorporate the changes that you are also suggesting based on your years of experience and working with the customs, and take it to DG Systems for complete digitization, end-to-end digitization. So I'll not take up much more of your time. I again thank DGTS, and I'm sure the panel of very distinguished speakers that you have here will be able to address all your concerns, some of your concerns, sorry, not all, and be able to also guide you through some of the processes that you may want greater enlightenment on. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam, for your warm and inaugural address. The role played by the trade and industry in the nation's growth has always been commendable. In today's program, as I have already mentioned, there are a number of dignitaries representing the trade bodies, and it is our privilege to hear from them. We have with us Sri K. Unnikrishnan, Joint Director General, FIEO Southern Region. I request Sri Unnikrishnan to address the gathering. Sir, over to you, sir.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Respected Madam Ushaji, Chief Commissioner of Customs Bangalore, respected Shri Manoj Kumar Arora, Chief Commissioner CGST and Custom Trivandrum Zone, Mr. R. Manohar, Additional DG, DGTS, and other officials from the department, Madam Narmada Singh, Deputy Commissioner of Customs, Air Cargo Complex, Shri Gordon Ram, who is our expert speaker in the session, and all other speakers, including Mr. Prakash Iyer from Cochin Chamber, Mr. Prabhagar Kini, Honorary Secretary of Cochin Custom Brokers Association, Mr. Philip, President Bangalore Custom Agents Association, and also Mr. Girish Narayan, Honorable Secretary, Bangalore Custom House Association Limited. Very good afternoon to all of you. In fact, as the speakers already mentioned about the kind of initiative taken by the department for facilitating the trade. The department initiated and implemented several reforms measures in the recent past, focusing especially simplifying cross-border trade. As many of you are aware that India currently ranks, in fact, 2022 ranks 62 amongst 170 countries in the world. World Bank's Easy on Doing Business Index, and it has ascended 17 notches in a year. This was made possible due to very dedicated efforts of the department for reduced time and as well as the cost of clearance of goods at various custom ports, owing to the implementation of measures such as SWIFT, e-Sanjits, reverse AEO program, RFID, e-seal program, etc. To bring in transparency, more digital augment, and less human intervention, CBIC introduced Turant Faceless assessment across the border operations. This was referred in many of the countries as electronic custom clearance. It is very astonished to observe that how fast the department has changed from a huge number of legal documents to a paperless business atmosphere to meet the objective of providing more efficient and transparent and also standardized customer assessment experience. This fundamental change was a big silent revolution, I should say, which all of us must appreciate the department and all the team members in all custom sections. The first, as Madam pointed out, first faceless assessment was implemented at Chennai and Bangalore as a forerunner in implementing innovative ideas, as Customs and Bangalore always does it. The CBIC implemented the Faceless assessment during October 2020 under the policy of Next Generation Turanta Customs Program. I want to specifically mention some of the advantages already the trade gained due to this. First of all, very importantly, it has removed physical interference, trade and customs, and also ensured uniformity in assessment across all locations, and also promoted specific functional specialization, which was very much necessary to automate end-to-end clearance process. Some feedback also I want to just share before closing it. In fact, Madam was mentioning about the kind of changes happening in the department, and we have seen that even recent changes what have happened in the Faceless assessment also. Whenever the feedback given by the trade and industry department is immediately taking note of that, taking action on to improve that, that is to be appreciated. Despite having a centralized automated IT framework for carrying customer assessment, there is varying assessment structures in different zones, and we find that many places there is no uniform standard custom assessment practices, which is experienced by the trade in some cases. Due to these different structures, we also find it's contributing to differences in dwell time of cargo, and also bring time overall inefficiency, which need to. I'm sure that my department already working on that. I thank with this. I thank Mr. Manohar, ADG DGTS, for organizing this program, which is very important, especially in this subject. In fact, even though we are talking about faceless assessment, faceless activities, but regular interaction with the department is very much necessary for understanding what trade may wanted, as well as what the viewpoint of the department, so that we can progress together. With this, I thank all of you for joining this program. I'm sure that this will be a very good interaction, and I request all the participants to make use this platform to have interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
We have with us Sri Prakash Iyer, Executive Committee Member, CCC and I, Kerala. I request Sri Prakash to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, officials from DGTS, CBIC, and my colleagues in shipping, logistics, exporters and importers, traders. It's a great opportunity to be, to participate in the webinar conducted by CBIC, which is, I think, this is the first time we are having such webinar to speak out on the facilities the customs provide, customs and DGTS provide. And I would like to highlight few things which the customs is doing now, which we are experiencing as a shipping line, as an exporter or importer. The way we interact with customs, mostly through the EDI and faceless activities, helps us to bring out the business faster, to bring our ships alongside faster, to sail the ships faster out, and the turnaround time of the export and imports become faster. And also, if you look into the dwell time, has come down from 7 to 2 days, 2.5 days, I believe currently, which is only because of the faceless assessment. And there is a much like a more transparency, which we can see recently after the faceless assessment has been started. Even if you look into the submission of IGM, import general manifest, export general manifest, or any other documents, even through the sending mails and getting feedback through mails, even everything is become mostly through the EDI to the computerization, and that all helps a lot to the trade and industries in India and showcases our India's image across the globe. When we discuss with our principals across the globe, like even my company in Taiwan or my former company in Japan, they ask us how fast we can do it, and we assure that the customs is not a regulator now, they become a facilitator. Even whenever we approach customs for customs officials at Cochin for any requirement. It is done very faster. We appreciate their efforts, and we appreciate the organization, especially Mr. Shastri, who was in touch with me a few weeks back and asking me for this, to participate in the webinar. I congratulate each and every one of you, and I leave to the next person. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you, sir. We have with us Sri Prabhakar Kini, Honorable Secretary, CCBA Cochin. I request Sri Prabhakar Kini to address the gathering. Over to you, Mr. Prabhakar.
Respected dignitaries, my friends and colleagues, good afternoon. We all know that the faceless assessment was introduced with the primary intention of cutting cost and saving time related to movement of goods. Our members initially were very skeptical. Will this work? And how can this work? How will this work? We were all accustomed to moving papers, huge wads of papers from desk to desk, from table to table, from department to department, and suddenly this is all becoming zero. It was very difficult to digest. It was unmanageable, but we must congratulate the department. It has worked well. It has come a long way, and it is now well settled. No doubt there were glitches, but then we had the Turan Seva Kendras to assist us. We could even escalate to JC groups or even the commissioner groups to get all the glitches or difficulties addressed and rectified. We have overcome that too. To complement this faceless assessment, basically to save time, the direct port delivery DPD was also introduced. And that has been a great boon to the importers. I mean, you could just take delivery of your goods within a day or even less. The AEO certification went a long way to how shall we say, in the assessing officers regarding or related to the standing or the respectability of that particular customer. It's very important because earlier the local customs knew the local importer. I mean, they were all known to each other being in a small locality. But today, when the paperwork or the documentation is done, for example, in Delhi, related to some shipment in Cochin, the assessing officer may not know who this particular importer is or what is his standing in the community, what is his respectability. So this AEO certification did contribute to create an impression that could help these officers to come to some conclusion regarding this particular importer. While all this has happened, there are still some difficulties, and customers are today very demanding. Our members are also very demanding. So I have been given the task to highlight some of the difficulties that we are facing today, which has come up now. I do not know whether it is the right time to talk about it now or whether it should be in the question and answer session, but I have summarized this to just about 3 or 4 points, which I will quickly go through. Many of our customers want the bill of entry to be provisionally assessed, but the assessing officer ends up assessing it finally, and then we are forced to recall the bill of entry and then resubmit it. We have lost 3 to 5 days in the process. If the concerned assessing officer in whose queue this bill of entry lies and is on leave, we come to know a little late. And then by the time we recall and it is put to another officer in queue, it takes another 3-4 days.
Mr. Prabhakarji.
Yeah.
Any questions, you put it in the chat box. Our expert panelists will answer the question at the end of the session.
Fair enough. So these points I will keep it for the question and answer session. But again, it's a welcome move. We must ensure that this faceless assessment succeeds. We must go ahead with this process. It's the right way forward for India. We have come a long way and we have a long way to go. But I'm sure with so many experts here and with the kind of efforts that are being put by the officers, we will definitely succeed. And yes, we customs brokers are always with the customs department to ensure that the rules and regulations are followed. We will be there to support for all these development initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We also have with us Philip CC, President, MCHAA, Bengaluru. I request Philip to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
All the dignitaries, panel of experts and participants. It's our pleasure to be part of organizing committee or part of this webinar through along with DGTS, who are frequently in touch with us and requesting for a wonderful program. And the topic selected today is really the need of our, as the trade and my friends have mentioned, trade and exim trade and the custom brokers are facing a lot of issues with regard to this faceless. Of course, solutions are there, but the problem is that we have to approach the authorities on time to time to get it resolved. And I hope this session on this faceless assessment will give us an idea, and especially Mr. Kodandaraman sir, and very senior and expert person in this field, will definitely give an idea how to resolve the problems and how to avoid the delays. Delay is one thing which we are facing a lot nowadays also. So that the delay which caused a trade and the exim trade. So I hope this session will be addressing all these issues, and the participants will benefit out of this program. And I thank the DGTS Bangalore for organizing this program. And let us not waste time, and let us hear to the experts and get the resolution for our problems. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we come to the main part of the program, and we are honored and privileged to have with us Sri M.G. Godandaram, IRS, Assistant Commissioner, retired CBIC. He has a depth of knowledge in all the subjects of customs and GST. He has been kind enough to accept our request and readily agreed to do the presentation. Now I request Sri M.G. Godandaram sir to start his presentation. Sir, over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very happy to be associated with DGTS and my fraternity all the time and every time. It gives me immense happiness because I am of some use to the society, which I always cherish to belong. So very senior most officer Srimati Usha Madam, Manoj Kumarji, Manoharji, and all others in the panel and in the listening to my talk. Let me upload my PPT. Kindly help me for a while. Is the presentation visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But not in full screen, sir.
Is this okay? Is this okay, or you want me to switch off one more screen?
Yeah, sir. If it is in full screen, it will be very easy to view all this.
Okay. I'll put it like this. Is this okay, sir, now?
Okay, sir. We start the presentation.
Yeah. Because I know little of technology. So let me not get derailed. Friends, as you know, any customs venture or any venture with the government of India or states is with a view to strengthen the economy. Here, as you know, we are all stakeholders in the national economic is concerned. We want India to be a very strong economic force to reckon with. With that in view, a lot of reforms have been brought in the customs scenario. When I was talking to GST, they were telling, sir, there are too many changes. I said, much more changes are there in customs, but silently they are doing. The changes in customs is much more than just of GST, because the GST has ramification within the country. Here it has an international ramification where India also has to position itself in a better place when compared to other customs. Otherwise, in the global scenario where we are planning for a seamless movement of goods, accelerated clearances, we will be left behind. That should not happen. Fortunately, our customs fraternity has been in the forefront. To put it in simple words, in 2005 itself, we have introduced RMS when no such agreements were there in the international scenario. We gave that an experiment for nearly 2011. Only in 2011, we shifted the responsibility through self-assessment to the importers and the exporters. Then you can imagine we have technologically been growing day in and out, and we were ready when trade facilitation agreement came. Nearly 20-25% of the job has already done by our efficient workforce. But now we have to do much more. Here, as per the trade facilitation agreements, we need to get certain standards, which I'm going to give you later. Here it is not the customs alone who can do it. The performance of this should happen by all stakeholders. Unless everyone, every participating government agencies, importers, exporters, custom brokers, custodians, warehouse operators, terminal operators, banks, courier, postal service, trade associations, everybody should have to chip in to have their whatever lacunas are there set right. With that in view, I will be presenting where exactly we can do some improvisation so that we will have a faster clearance. This is the second in the series because Mumbai had addressed. So I got a lot of experience myself also there from the fraternity, which I have included here, so that this will help our Bangalore people also. I'll be taking the talk with certain things in a slow and systematic way, where I will end up with the changes and how we have to change ourselves. Otherwise, we change ourselves to the required mandatory regulations, it will be very difficult to do performance. And therefore, with that in view, in a positive frame of mind, I request each one of you to take it without considering any negative aspects. If I have slipped speak or something like that, it's only to make our team, because it's a team effort now. It is no more only a department's effort. It's a team effort for the sake of country. We are partners in progress. And therefore, with that in view, we should do it. Reforms, bringing down the reforms to the importers and exporters to make use of it, requires education at all levels. Undoubted it is. We brought self-assessment in 2005 technologically, 2011 legally, and thereon we improved, but we failed to convince our importers and exporters that the responsibility to file a proper document lies totally on them, on the custom brokers, on the warehouse keepers, because now it is self-assessment. Department is not doing any assessment. That should be the aim. Once your papers are on in the form of bill of entry or shipping bill if it is export, there should not be any scope for anybody to raise any query, because you are equivalent to an assessing officer and you have given all credible information as mandated. That framework should come. To do that, by the importer and exporter needs to educate the people working under them. That's the primary requirement which need to happen. If they are not properly educated to the latest nuances of the legal changes that have taken place, it will be very, very difficult. So I'll be looking in where exactly such improvisations are required as per the latest reports of TRS, national TRS. Then provisional assessments a bit I will speak. Then how we have to move around, we will try to examine. Any questions? I will take it at the end. All these data have been told by our colleagues now already, but I am focusing now on the National Time Release Study, the report, which gives the reasons for the faceless assessment to struggle even now, because we are not able to achieve the required targets. There, as far as faceless assessment is concerned, it talks about three important areas. One is amendment. Amendment, there is an increase in the time spent, which we need to cut down. Queries have remained almost the same, but we need to improve queries, because asking for a document is also called a query. Most of the time, I am told nearly 60% of the time, it's only documents they are asking. Those documents could have been provided in the initial bill of entry filing itself. There we can save a much. And for amendments, if you are doing in a sensible way the bill of entry, we can cut down that. And recall, this is also resulting delays. This cannot be removed in a stroke. It will take time, but it will go on reducing if we improve our approach towards filing of the documents with the department. That's the first thing. So quality of self-assessment will impact if we allow these three things to come. It has to be come down. Sir, what is the import release time as of now? You can see it is still very high when compared to the trade facilitation agreements, which we should achieve by 2023. But there is a fair amount of positive approach wherever AEO is concerned. Kindly look into the table which I have given. You can see that AEO person gets a better release. But the problem is the transforming the importers and the exporters as AEO compliant people applying for AEO has not taken up in a very serious manner as on today. Even today, we have huge number of people who are regular importers and exporters who are not coming to the group of this AEO. AEO added with MRA, which we are going to take it up, will certainly help reduce and achieve our targets. So you can see where in seaports we take for a AEO 60 and here it's still 96 for non-AEO. So this is the difference. This is the advantage for all of you stakeholders to look in and see that the new regime of AEO is started. I have a slide also on the AEO, how we can accomplish. That's very important for all of us. So that's the problem area. Now I will come to this. Filing of path to promptness is also discussed there. Advanced filing of import documents. Now fines will be there, so you have to do it. Pre-arrival processing should be enhanced. Risk-based facilitation, and people should start using the ledger system, which is already there, section 51A, where it allows you to take your own account and do the things yourself in a faster space. Once the bill of entry is clear, immediately you can make your clearances. So to that extent, it will help the department and help us to perform better. CBIC is at the forefront, catalyzing economic development through transparency, harmonization, predictability, and automation. The four principles: transparency, harmonization, which we are yet to achieve in certain commodities, predictability, and automation. So next generation reforms, as our Chief Commissioner was referring, we have already thought out from the beginning, and we are going for that. Turant Custom is a faceless assessment. As you all are aware, I don't want to spend much time on that. Faceless customs, paperless customs, contactless customs. This has been propagated and made known. But for this, I want all the stakeholders and their staff to be prepared with all proper education to file those documents first time and every time in a proper legal way, so that there is no scope for any delay once the documents are filed. And if they are AEO compliant, we will be able to give much more facilitation than prescribed. What are the reforms we have brought? I tried to just list it out. I don't think this needs to be referred to. As you are aware, Turant, faceless assessment, e-Sanchet, SWIFT, deferred payment of tax for certain categories, self-sealing, self-assessment, RMS, DPD, DPE. Yes, it's a new horizon of this one that has happened. Now, authorized economic operator, those started in 2011 or 12, it has not picked up to the required extent where we need to do a lot. Then only we will be able to achieve. Then digital signatures, electronic delivery orders, 24/7 custom clearances, customs audit, especially trade-based, transaction-based audit, premises-based audit, theme-based audit have been introduced, and liberalized warehousing scheme, MOVER 2019, has been a very successful venture. And AD code registration has helped giving refund and other transactions. Then advance authorities. Instead of appeal authority, we have given that to the high courts. Now only advance authorities, original authorities are there, and the orders are coming pretty fast because we also filed. I'm now taking care of consultation as well as audit, advocacy. So I am able to get orders within a couple of months, very fast. So they are really doing well, and we are going to computerize maximum work, especially this ICGR rules, where we have made compliance also online for the end users after the clearance of the goods, where it is easier for them to report. So this is where we are looking into, and Karotar rules have become much more streamlined. As far as Karotar rules are concerned, still some people struggle because they will not do any prior work when they are applying for this preferential benefits. So once they are claiming preferential taxes, they should get all the documentation first before filing, not after filing. And they should see that their exporters in the other country provides them on time so that it is easier for them to comply if there is any query raised. Now, automated custom clearances, prior arrival, EDI, documentation, verifications, and we are going for faceless virtual jurisdiction free assessment. What does it mean? We will go in that. This fast track is another change that has come where we are able to clear faster. Now, where exactly we need to understand is the shifting of the assessments on the party, on the importers and exporters, followed by the custom brokers. Here, earlier assessment meant was, in a very simple definition, includes provisional assessment, self-assessment, reassessment, any assessment. Now, as on today, the bill of entries you are filing is self-assessed bill of entries. Kindly note, it is self-assessed bill of entries. Officer is not going to do any assessment. If it is selected by the RMS, it will go for reassessment. So you should not leave scope for reassessment. Even if it goes for reassessment, with the documents which you have given, it is possible to reassess in no time without raising any query. That should be the way you should assess. Even assess definition has been expanded now. You can see section 2.2 defines assessment as any goods, the amount of duty, tax, cess, or any other sum so payable under Act, Custom Act, and any other act, where tariff classification must be clearly decidable by you. Means you should have decided the classification properly. Description of the product should be clearly given. This is a most important part, because if the description as prescribed in the faceless assessment circulars are given, it will be very easy for the officers to process it. One or two examples I'll try to give you. Now we have come with a much more detailed one, where we call it as additional qualifiers. One or two of additional qualifiers. I'll just try to pick it up for you. Here is the I think you are able to see this circular, please. We have circular number 15/23. You can see here.
It's very small in size, sir. Can you?
Small in size?
Yes, sir. Just to zoom that one.
I'll do that. I'll do that. This I can do it. Is this okay, sir?
Okay, okay, sir.
Is this okay, sir? Please.
Now it's okay, sir.
Right. You can see here, in respect of certain commodities, after discussing with them, there is regular queries that are coming out. They have told additional qualifiers in respect of imports to be given. Kindly, if you are handling the commodities given in the CTH, you have to follow this in minutely and correctly, regularly. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to do final assessments, because while queries have been analyzed, it is found that the reassessing officer requires so many details which are not available. So that is the problem. Here is Annexure 1. If you see for imports, it has been given. I hope this you will take note. And in this one, I will not be able to talk on much on this, but this is one of the points, bullets, you should know that additional qualifiers have to be. There are 3 notifications. One is further this one, and another is for declarations if there is certain informations not available. Kindly follow this properly. This is very important. Otherwise, it will be difficult. And regarding description, if you go to circular number 55, here, complete description of the imported goods should be given. This is what we have made it mandatory. And unless that is given, it is very difficult for the officer. What are the things required is also explained. Kindly note, listeners, kindly note this context. Generic description. The description of generic text relevant to provided in the duty exemption notification. When you claim anti-dumping duty, IGST levy and all, it should be able to meet the requirements of notification. Kindly note, whenever you avail any exemption, it is for you to prove that you are eligible for exemption. Courts have held from the beginning. And a specific description must be there. Product and as given by the invoice, trade name specific must be available. Model and brand name must be there, essential. You cannot keep it empty. Supplier and manufacturer's details should be given wherever required. Item qualifiers you should give. Previous bills of entry, if it is there, that also should be given. So you can know that there is an effort by the part of the department to guide you. Kindly, these are the areas where we are struggling. You have to update your approach, your records to that extent. So that is first thing I would like to call upon. Second aspect, when we go, the value of such goods. Here valuation, there is a lot of issues coming. Kindly note, especially when goods are warehoused, the valuation should be done as per section 3(8) and 8A and 9 and 9A for compensation cess of Customs Tariff Act. So Customs Tariff Act implications, kindly note. So valuation, if it is warehoused goods, will be as per the transaction value or the customs value, whichever is higher. And here, whatever expenditures that have taken place should be added. Secondly, section 14, earlier and now, the changes in the pre-GST period, we were not taking the component like anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty into the component where we charged 3.5, 3.3 and 3.5 taxes. Now we have to take them for IGST. So these are all certain changes you need to do. And regarding exemptions, concessions of duty, tax, cess, it is onus is on the importer and the exporter. We will talk about only importer today. So on the importer, it is for them to prove that they are eligible. The documentation should be in such a way that the eligibility is clearly proved. And the quantity, weight, volume, measurements should be properly given. The origin of such goods, character or rules, must be properly given. Kindly look into the concerned circular number which I have cited. If there is more information required, we will give you. Any other specific factor, yes, includes provisional assessment. So provisional assessment, now it's a time-bound assessment which has to be kept up. And this is what the assessment is now present day in short given, and we need to work towards improving our self-assessment approach. Once this is done, it is easy for the officers to pick and choose and move. As you know, World Customs Organization in the world over is going on 4 core principles. Advanced electronic information, where we need to pick up. Lot of times we are seeing bill of entries are filed later. It is to be 100% advanced electronic only. Not only that, our sea manifest as well as air manifest has to be filed in advance. So that should be practiced. Risk management, Yes, we are doing it. The others, we are taking it up. And it is required for the business partnerships, all stakeholders to work together to make it a very successful venture. The World Customs Organization, which talks about borders divide, but customs connect, WCO's words, is really something to be appreciated. Now we are in the TFA. We will move to the TFA, a brief. TFA, among others, where we have seen a lot of changes that are happening. That itself is a separate talk, which I am not going to deal in. But I'm worried about the plans, action plans given for 23. 66 achievable by all concerned agencies are there, out of which the most concerning by us, by customs, is imports 48 hours, by air 24 hours. Here, as per the NTRS, we are struggling. You can see here, sea ports 85.42, ICD is 71, ACC is 44, inland customs posts, that is land customs stations, 31. Still, it remains to achieve. For this, we need to work together. It is not possible to do in isolation, and therefore, we request through this seminar or through this educative, this one, where we want each one of you to take it as your problem and see that as a country, we achieve this. That's very, very important. Here, it is not by customs 48 hours, by all stakeholders. That's what is very clearly made out in the trade facilitation agreement. There are more than 64 PGS who have to work with us. They also have to chip in. And also all the stakeholders have to perform to achieve the required goal. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. As and other things, I think you know very well, customs automated system, facilitated bill of entry, non-facilitated bill of entry. Regularly, people say you facilitate more. Kindly note, unless there is AEO certification, increasing the facilitation will be very dangerous. Because I always say the customs decision making is on two fronts. One is allow legitimate trade freely, which is not legitimate, I have to cut down. There lies the problem for me. To make it legitimacy, if there is a certified importer, certified exporter, it is much more easier. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult in the global scenario. The amount of threats we are having, the amount of problems we are facing, it is very, very difficult to understand the legitimacy, and the legitimacy should come from each one of the stakeholders by becoming compliant with the AEO. And now AEO is also online. More of it I'll come back to you. Unless that is done, facilitation cannot be expanded to up to certain extent. Now, after faceless assessment, we have gone up to 85% in certain situations. But it is legitimacy will be a big question mark if we don't expand the AEO implications. These are all other circulars which I have just listed out to enable you to refer later. Kindly extract the copies of all this, go through them, and wherever I have made it yellow mark, they are very important. Kindly look in. But I will be detailed discussions. I will do it on circular number 16/2022 on standard of examination, as well as circular number 13/2023, where reorganization has taken place. So earlier organizations I will not present now. I will go to the latest one by the end of my talk. Other than that, certain important clarifications I will explain to you. If there is any questions, we will take it up at the end. If there is anything to do with policy, the departmental officers will take care of it. Anything which is already announced, I'll be able to help you. And additional qualifiers is another area where you have to look in. And latest changes where we want to respond to the problems is anonymized escalation mechanism in place. So kindly look into that. I'll be dealing it later also. Then Karator, very important. So these are all the important areas to improve faceless assessment. Unless this background work is done, we will not be able to achieve better results in the faceless assessment scheme. A bit of AEO, because it's my favorite one. In 2012, we started this with IBM inspection in Bengaluru, where Kamakshi madam had come, and our Vanaja Sarna madam, who became chairman, was also one of the trainee with us. We feel proud, but it did not take off. Later on, there was a revised one. Now there is a full-fledged online mechanism available. Still, we don't see much of the enthusiasm from the importers and exporters and other logistic providers, custodians, terminal operators, custom houses to become AEO compliant. Please take this forward, because under this safe framework standards, we will be able to enhance the international supply chain security, which is very, very essential security angle, and also facilitate cross-border movement. Here, digitization of AEO program has done with the view that more and more people will come. Recently, I had one or two discussions with international seminars conducted by FKCCI and other agencies, where in certain countries they have achieved 95% AEO compliance. In my country, I think we are very much less when compared to that. We have not even achieved 30%. If I am wrong, kindly correct me. So where we are, how can we give more legitimacy unless trade comes out with this legitimization? And for this, few benefits also have been given. Facility of DPD, DPE, deferred payment, all that is detailedly given in the AEO website. Kindly go. It is one of the well-maintained websites of the department. Kindly file it online. What is background work to be done? If you require, we can have another education talk on that, how to get compliant with the AEO, and see that all your importers, exporters join this, so that we will be able to do better reforms in the customs clearances. And also added to it, you have MRS. Recently, I saw one information coming. 28 countries are getting ready to have MRS, 28 plus, because here we have many countries together. So this is where your AEO status will be treated as AEO status in the other country. So you have a better opportunity to use this as the best way to reduce your cost. The opportunity is to reduce your cost. This is what SIB AEO cell is regularly calling for. And for MSMEs also, we have given certain relaxations, which you are aware of it. There is no need of 25 documents. 10 documents will do. Bank guarantees also is reduced. 15 working days time limit for processing MSME, T1 and T2. So there is a huge amount of importance is given. Kindly make use of it, so that we will achieve better results in the faceless assessment scheme. Now we will go to faceless assessment scheme. The picture itself is very much clear too, I hope. Only deviation is this reassessment part is done in two parts. One is reassessment at the port after picking up by the RMS, or by the Faceless Assessment Group, FAG. There it is a virtual group. Other than that, there is no change in our regular procedure. It hardly matters if your documentation is proper, whether it is done at the port or away. The advantage for the department if it is done away is the concerned officer will be expert in certain commodities, and he will be able to give a uniform approach and foster clearances for those products. That is the aim, and that is been achieved more or less according to me. So you can see here, we have the computer system, which is helping all of us. And we have Faceless Assessment Group, which is a virtual group, which will not be stationary in your port. It could be anywhere in India. It doesn't matter. Then Port Assessment Group will be in your port. Wherever goods are received, in that port, Port Assessment Group will be there. If the system sends it to FAG, it will go there. Otherwise, it will land in this. So it's as usual. You can clear it clear. Absolutely nothing to worry. You have national assessment centers which are already virtual groups, who will be monitoring this, the performance of PAG. And in the ports, we have Turant Suvidha Kendras to help the port assessment group as well as the faceless assessment groups, where they will take you day-to-day issues. The objective of this is to keep anonymity in assessments for reduced physical interface between the trade and the customs, speedier customs clearances, that's the main important, greater uniformity of assessment across locations. One of our few members also expressed that there is need of uniformity. That can be achieved only through this. Promoting sector-specific and functional specialization in assessment so that we can move faster. So this is how the faceless assessment scheme is all about. You can see now, I have given it in an easy way. Here you have your ports handling this. And this is a virtual group. This is a virtual group. You do not have to worry about the working of the national and all, because they are there to improve the functioning of the faceless assessment group and look into the problems. If you face anything in the FAG, you can bring it to knowledge. So this is in a simple way to understand faceless assessment group. Now what will be the flow? Kindly look in here. You have submitted your bill of entry. It may go to faceless assessment group, then PDF copy to importer, duty payment through e-ledger, and it will get clear if it is assessment does. Then you can do contactless web-based registration, facilitated, non-facilitated, everything will be clearly moving. So there is no change in the procedure. Now, e-filing of bill of entry, workflow for bill of entry, system assigns the FAG. So it's a system assigned FAG. There is no human interference other than risk parameters that could be added locally as well as nationally. That was there earlier also. Then self-assessment confirmed by FAG, assessment finalized by FAG, sent for port of import for examination and clearances. If it is when reassessment to be done, then only the problem comes. In the FAG, reassessment to be done, query raised by FAG to be answered in a faster way, query replied importer via IceGate, then reassessment of completed FAG, section 195, orders to be issued. So if you don't go to this stream if you can maintain by filing documents properly, that will hasten the speed of reassessment by the customs at PAG as well as in the port. In case if it comes to the port also, port assessment officer will be in a better position to clear your assessment, reassessments. So this is where you have to change. So this I have already told you, local setups. We will look into the functions of each one of them. Here, port assessment group. That is in your port only they will be sitting like any other this one. They will be doing assessments which are not going to FAG, or FAG again reassigns to PAG, it will come here. All functions pertaining to bill of entry which are not marked FAG, groups by the CAS will come here. Bill of entry that are referred to by FAG to the port will come. Handling issues arising out of post assessment will also come here in certain cases. What is this is, when the FAG wants a sample to be taken, if the sample cannot be getting examination report on time, it may transfer it to PAG to look into the examination report and clear the goods later. So that is the advantage. If there is a examination delay happening, we don't want reassessment to suffer and the importer to suffer. Clearance should take place, and therefore this mechanism is also built in the circulars that have come later. So handling issues, if there is a delay required, like examination results may come couple of days, then immediately the port assessment officer group will take it up. If provisional assessment to be ordered, he will take the advice also if required. But it is better to get the examination report faster and get the port assessment cleared. Or if the examination could be got immediately, the FAG group itself may consider it. So it's left to the FAG. So this is the area you should concentrate now. Then Suvidha Kendras have to perform in a very quick way. to see that this experiment is successful to the highest extent, especially the bond management, bank guarantee management, other verifications, defacing of the documents wherever required, debit of documents, permits, licenses, handle queries. All this has to be done by Turant Suvidha Kendras. So these two Kendras are available in the port of import only, and it is their main duty is this. This has been very beautifully analyzed in one of the standing orders of Mumbai. I think I don't able to see this now. A boom NS1. Now TSK is a dedicated cell manned by custom officer. What are they doing? Accept bond, carry out any other verification, defacing, debit, others, provisional assessment bonds, warehousing bonds, end user bonds, use band, letter of undertaking, SVB, LUT for exports, SVB bond if there is a reference with a related person, re-export, re-import bonds, test bonds, project import bonds, everything will be handled locally. Kindly be assured, this is not to be going to FAG. It will be handled by the Turant Suvidha Kendras. This is technology platform, as Madam explained. We have brought everything together on the technology. FAG for assessment of particular groups. Their national assessment centers will be guiding them. How it will work, we will try to spend some time on that. These are the commodity-wise organizations we had. Now we have different. So don't have to look at this past one. Functions of the FAG, what they should do. May accept the self-assessment or reassessment of bill of entry and process speaking order. May accept self-assessment should become must accept. To that level, you should bring proper documentation. Reassessment, if there is a query, immediately reply them. Most of the time, it's documents not produced. So kindly send those documents along with the original one. Providing importers a PH through query. Video conferencing, you don't have to be present there. Then assessing any bill of entry assigned by CAS, irrespective of the port where the goods have come. With the introduction of FAG, the assessment part is delinked with the geographical location. That's the only change that has happened. Then enhanced expediting, how they have done. Now we have increased 90% to the RMD. It's clarified that the element of randomness of in introduction of bill of entry would be retained by RMS. They have to say. Now, just now one of the speakers said that during holidays we are struggling. For that also there is an instruction clearly given. Working hours of all FAG shall be uniform. Number one. Secondly, if the FAG in one particular locality is on a holiday, it can be shifted to another FAG because it is in different geographical locations. Holidays may not be declared all over India uniformly. So if there is any chance for certain local holidays being given there, that could be taken up by the other FAG, and for this our NACs are regularly working on that. NACs are very senior officers who will be communicating with this, and they are always open to all feedbacks by the trade, and kindly make use of that. That's very important. And appraising officer also should raise a query in a clear and holistic manner. They should not go on asking the query or one after the other. They should be one time only. If you look in the concerned circular, it says how to raise a query. That should be kept up by the officers who are handling this. Organizing sector of NAC, I think this is not that important for the trade. This anyhow I'll come at the end. So functions of the NAC, where our supervising senior officers will be looking into. They will be monitoring of assessment practices adopted by FAG. So don't be under the impression that FAGs will do whatever they want. No, our NAC sits there. He will be informed through his dashboard what is the time taken by particular groups for particular items. So they will be following it up. Ensuring uniformity in classification, that is one of their work. They should see the classification across that commodity in respect of that FAG is uniform. Valuation, that's also very important. Exemption benefits, compliance to import policies. Ensuring that queries raised by FAG are limited to essential queries, that the queries are not raised in a piecemeal manner. So this is where we have already know the issues and we are trying to tackle it. Here it requires equal cooperation from the trade to come up with proper documentation. Ensuring that first check is resorted sparingly, in which cases only first check can be given is also given. So most of the time in FAGs, it is second check, even if it is required. Otherwise, it will be clear. Even for second check examination, they have to give a specific instruction, as the circular which I am going to quote later will indicate you. They have marked the area and they have to say which area, what serial number they have to verify. Even to that extent, they have to be very, very clear. There is no question of ambiguity in ordering for an examination, and only if it is essential. And first check is almost eliminated, you can say. Okay, it's only for old and used goods, old and used machineries, and where certain commodities it requires valuation, classification, and other parameters, where certain documents are not available, they can go for, or some examination is required to fix the classification of that particular product, especially some chemicals, things like that. At that time, they may order. Otherwise, it will be only second check. Functions of NAC also includes ensuring that queries raised at FAG are limited to essential queries. Anonymity and specialization is maintained. This is very, very important. Anonymization as well as specialization of the particular groups are kept up. Responsibilities, this I will skip. This I have already told you. They are working of our internal one, which is not much important for the trade. We are also having a standing order. We have a working group behind this. We are monitoring timely assessment bill of entry on a daily basis. That's the one of the working groups. Valuation and related issues are discussed every week. Classification and related issues every week. Restrictions, prohibitions, coordinations is being exchanged every week with the PGAs. Communication and outreach departmental officers is going on with the trade also on weekly basis wherever feedbacks are received. Means we are working in a very responsive manner. Wherever issues are there, we are trying to attend and address the issue so that it gets resolved on a very fast basis. So this is again the same thing, which is again re-emphasized through Standing Order 3120. Kindly go through that. And coordination, I told you, DRI, DGOV, and all directorates, they are having a regular one where we are going to improve the performance, especially compulsory compliance requirements with the DGARM is being discussed. Wherever it could be less burdensome, it is going to be used. Kindly give advices wherever such compulsory compliance requirements are not necessary and it's still coming. We are ready to take the feedback so that we will improvise on that. So you can see here, we are not alone. Even DGTS is a part of faceless assessment group. They are going to help you now, as of now, doing outreach measures by provisions of content, faculty holding, webinars, workshops. Plenty of them they are conducting all over India. Because it's a web-based, anybody from anywhere can get in. It need not be at Bengaluru only. Bangalore, now this web could be listened anywhere in India. So this is where you have an advantage. We have Directorate General of Audit who are going to much more open in their audit performances, and thereby it is helping because more responsibility need to be taken by DG Audit so that the assessment can be smoother and faster. DG systems have done wonderful work, especially within a limited time. Our customs digital systems have come up on a very, very large improvised scale, which I am really proud of. When I attend, even GST network as well as our EDI systems have been performing very well. This is again pictorially I have depicted them. You can look into the Standing Order of Navsheva, which is available, which gives you much more details to you. Process, I think I don't have to stress much, but now some essentials I'll tell you. All of them are processed by customs automated system. FAG will assess bill of entry, may opt to assess, verify bill of entry, seek additional information of documents, identify bill of entry for examination or testing. So 3 options are there with the FAG. You can link of assess and verify and send it to that level. A level only you should keep it. So to that extent you have to get ready, or he may ask you to additional information which you must be able to give through the web, through digital means immediately. There is no need of much. You can keep on tracking yours. If there is an additional information required, just attend to it immediately. But you must be well prepared. Especially in the corridor and all, unless you have done background work, you can't spend time on that. That's very important. Identify bill of entry for examination or testing also he can do. He can communicate with the importer, shall be managed electronically. On evaluation and clarification, FAG may either accept or reassess, and FAG shall issue a speaking order if there is any reassessment and if the importer disputes. And always the speaking order means after following the principles of natural justice. They should be heard, not only notice should be given, but also personal hearing should be done, especially using the digital means on a fast track, because they are expected to give the speaking order within 15 days. And therefore, your cooperation is also required on a faster basis. Then only the decision can come out. And on this decision, you have every facility to go for appeal. There is no problem at all. So the things could be settled faster. And in the meanwhile, if you want provisional assessment, that could be taken up also through your feedback systems, where you say we want this item faster clearances. So we give us the clearance. If there is any difference in the duty, if you can keep bank guarantee, I think certainly it will be allowed, except if they are not prohibited goods or restricted goods. Restricted and prohibited cannot be allowed. Other goods could be allowed. And if the examination report is something different that may come out, if such kind of thing is the situation, there also they may not, because after the examination report, they may find it to be a prohibited goods. Then it will be very difficult if they have released. Only in such situations they will not allow. In all other cases, provisional assessment could be requested by the party, as well as the department itself also can do. Because unlike GST, where only party should seek, here department also can ask you to go. Because if the examination report is taking 7 days, 10 days in certain situations, they can say you can get it released on provisional basis. And when you are doing provisional assessment, it will come to, if it is a delay, the port assessment officer will take over, as well as the Suvidha Kendra will help you to do the legal formalities. Procedure for verification by FAG. While accepting self-assessment, FAG's second check examination should be given. Shed officers at the port of import have to do. Here, where authenticity of a document is in doubt, verification by an external agency is required, shall be communicated to shed officers at the port of import for necessary action, wherever authenticity of the documents is required. Request for storage of imported goods in warehouse pending clearance or removal shall be processed via Turant Suvidha Kendras. Kindly note, if you want to warehouse it, you can warehouse it very quickly, so that we will be not spending much time on the dwell time. There is no delay in clearances. You can warehouse it and clear later also. Any assessment speaking order passed by the FAG shall be appealable to the Commissioner of Customs Appeals at the port of import. So all FAG passed orders can be appealed in your station only, Commissioner Appeal. You don't have to go to FAG center, because it's a virtual center. You knew a port of import only you can do. So these are all the things that should be noted. Further, on the examination testing, FAG to order examination, coordinate with the shed officer. First check examination testing should be limited. Onus of sending samples to the lab with the requisite test memo lie with the shed officers, not with the FAG. So Turit Saveda Kendras and shed officers have to be very, very quick. Otherwise, the faceless assessment scheme will not succeed. Results of the examination to be fed by the shed officer. Kindly note, results of the examination test report to be fed by the shed officer. So custom brokers, while attending this, request the shed officer to enter immediately so that it could go. Refer to the concerned FAGs. In case goods are confirmed to be in violation, restriction, prohibition on the basis of examination, FAG shall refer such bill of entries to port assessment group at port of import for doing necessary adjudication and assessment in case it is prohibited or restricted goods. So this is in simple words how it is. In reassessments in different situations can be carried out. Before out of charge may be referred to FAG for consideration. Before oversee may be carried out by the PAG. Before oversee may be carried out by the PAG. So all these options are kept open. Depending upon the situation, it will be taken up. First check is limited. This I will skip. I have already spoken to you how to do it. The virtual meet. First check examination. What are the things where first checks may be ordered? Beyond that, they can order, but which is prescribed. Old and used machinery, capital goods, provided the inspection appraisement report from the country of export is unavailable in prescribed format, is not produced at all, is insufficient. If you have given old and used material with appraisement report, first check may not be necessary. So there, you kindly try to get this in the prescribed format from the country of origin so that it is easier. Old and used goods only where examination is essential to determine valuation, classification and other parameters. Articles of jewelry, precious metals, imitation jewelry, cases of re-import of goods under various schemes, that's very less in number. Then provisional assessment can be ordered. If the requisite approval of provisional assessment already obtained, then yes, FAG can order. Otherwise, they have to refer to the PAG to go further. So it becomes the responsibility of the PAG to look in provisional assessments are ordered. For warehousing, also, Turant Suvidha Kendra should process it. Shed officer should look into all compulsory compliance requirements of RMS. Process for faceless is always electronic. Amendments electronically allowed. On this amendment, a lot of clarifications have been given so that here we were wasting a lot of time. Now amendments have become very easy, right? So different situations have begun. Then wherever required, demands under section 28, that normal one, audit objections, demand, adjudication, all that shall be done by the port of import only. There is no need of FAG using that. The matters where clarifications, inputs are required to be given to the FAG, the nodal commissionerate shall coordinate with the ports of imports. I have given you this flow chart. Kindly look at it. This is how the amendments should be handled. Again, to put everything together, kindly look at this. This is self-explanatory. Sri Panigrahi is one of my favorite writer. I read him a lot. So I have put that picture, which is self-explanatory. You can look in yourself. E-filing, system assigns, first check, then bill of entry sent to FAG to port, final test, examination, readily available, not readily available. Bill of entry, if it is readily available, it will there. Bill of entry examination not available, then it is marked to port of import only by the port assessment officer. If it is readily available, then it will take it up. First check, second check, as the case may be. Then system assigns FAG prior permission available, bond, bill of bank guarantee and not available. Provisional assessment is taken at the port of import. Uniform assessment practices are being done. There is A monthly bulletin is also being issued. Uniformity in assessment is what is going to be achieved so that there is a faster clearance. Uniformity in classification of a particular goods, valuation, exemption benefits, compliance, import policy conditions are going to be uniform because NAC and other agencies are looking into these aspects. This I can skip, not having much importance to this. Second phase, this is also what I have already spoken, but we will look into the examination to harmonize the examination orders across FAG. System generated centralized examination orders is being brought so that there is uniformity. You can look in the assessing officer will have the option of adding any additional examination instruction also. It need not be a standard one, it can be added. And according to the new procedure, after processing bill of entry, RMS will generate a consolidated examination order for each selected bill of entry based on potential risks. And whenever any examination order is made, it has to be followed without any deviation at the port. There is no scope because we are already facilitated the bill of entry maximum number of it. We have gone for certain thing only on RMS. Among the selected one, we are doing only selected one for examination, and therefore whatever examination done here should be as per the orders given. There should not be any deviation. Custom brokers, kindly note, don't try to hasten it. You see that it is complied with because we cannot take risk. For this purpose, standardized examination order for full container cargoes, they have made a division. You can see here, front of the container is called 1, at the back 5, position 2, 3, 4, like that they have divided. One area part 1 and other area parts, like that they have to give specific areas so that the ambiguity is there, is avoided, is not there. So you can hear one example I am giving. Check seal number of all containers and cut the seal of selected containers in your presence. Examine 10% of the respective areas, parts indicated in respect of each selected container and follow CCR where necessary. Other than those exceptions, verify declared description, quantity, specifications. So this is where one sample is there. You kindly go through this. It will give you much more broader understanding. And container selected for scanning through CSM, container scanning module, marked suspicious by the container scanning division, will have a separate related examination order. So if the CSM has selected it, you have to be very, very careful. CSM related examination order will complement the RMS generated exam order for a consignment. So both will be there. Very clear in this approach. Here we can't take the security as a measure is that, so we should be very careful. Bill of entry flow for second check examination. It could be, this is in the RMS sessions, we would have told you assessment and examination, examination only, assessment only as it is continues, absolutely no worry. Second check, manner of second check is also clearly given. FAG officer will give any additional examination order if necessary to complement the RMS generated examination orders. He cannot replace the RMS orders. It's a must. He can add something. Shed examination officer will strictly follow the RMS generated orders. Physically examine the selected containers, selected areas. Kindly note, selected containers, selected areas, parts as specified. You cannot deviate. Additionally, shed examination officers may also examine any other area part of the container. They are at liberty. Any deviation from RMS generated examination orders will require a prior approval of the joint commissioner or additional commissioner. Such deviation will have to be recorded in the examination report fed by the examining officer in the system. So this is made specifically evident so that the examination will be foolproof. Then circular number 2/23, standard examination orders through RMS have been much more relaxed. Kindly look in for further developments in that. Here, very important aspect, I think most of you might have noticed, as per circular number 14/2021, improvement of faceless assessment, measures for expediting customs clearance. Here, para 3.5 talks about enhancing the direct port delivery. You are all aware of DPD, which is this one. This is expanded to bill of entry wise. We were talking about only assessee wise. If he is a AO complaint, particular thing, he is eligible if he applies. But in certain cases, board has decided to shift from entity-based DPD to bill of entry-based DPD as a general principle. All the advanced bill of entry, which are fully facilitated, do not require assessment or examination, would be granted the facility of DPD. Kindly note this change. Very, very important for you. It will help. You can immediately read that para and make necessary procedures so that you will get your clearances done at a fast pace. It's clarified that this facility is over and above the present system of entity-based DPD. If you are already having entity-based DPD, kindly continue to improve it. This is additional one given to others, right? Grievance redressal, we have made a lot of changes also. Turant Suvidha Kendras are there, and our senior officers have been responding very fast pace. Now, another mechanism is put in place, that is anonymized escalation. In case of delay more than 1 working day, an importer custom broker would be able to initiate AEM through IceGate or approach TSK for the same. I request the trade to note this circular and that entry number so that you will, if there is a delay of 1 working day, more than 1 working day, you have to approach this, use this anonymized escalation system so that it is brought to the senior officer's notice and he will look in what is the reason for it. If there is officer on delay, is asked any query which is left out or examination is delayed, where exactly the delay will happen only when you complain. It is not a complaint in the common parlance term, you should take it. You bring it to the notice of the officer. Very, very important. The AEM will automatically route the grievance to FAG import shed with a notification of there. The concerned FAG is required to dispose of the grievance promptly. Monitor the concerned ADG, JC. So this is what's going to happen if you are responsive in using this. I request each one of you to note this and be there. There is also how to go for this advisory is issued by our IceGate. Kindly look in. That is available. And here I have given in the PPT itself how to go about in an easier way. This you could be read later. The circular. Now we will come to the final part. I'll take a couple of, I think another 4 or 5 minutes maximum. Now, a lot of changes have been brought in the NAC structure. It is reduced to 8 from 11. Kindly note, reduced to 8 only now from the existing 11. Now, there is some merging that has happened. We will know each one of them in a detailed way so that when you are looking in which NAC you have to approach, which group you have to go, you must be able to organize yourself, reorganize and get in. Reorganization of faceless assessment groups, FAGs. This is effective from 15th June 2023. Here we have primary products where Kolkata is the chief, mineral products Bengaluru, chemicals Mumbai 2, textile products Delhi, metal products Ahmedabad, mechanical machineries Mumbai 3, electric machineries Chennai, automobile instruments and miscellaneous products Mumbai 1. This is the division we have done. Here is National Assessment Centers. Who are the officers as given by that is also, I have tried to give it. Faceless assessment groups, you can see here primary products, that is products classified by chapter 1 to 26, you can say, because we have 2 groups here, 0 to 1, 1 to 15 and 16 to 26. Primary products 1, 2. These are all the commissionerates involved, virtual administration here. And you have primary convener Kolkata, nodal officer zones are here. So this is how it is reorganized with a view that we have people from all parts of India. Even if there is a holiday, if there is an absence of any of one of the members, it will not be going to harm the faceless assessment scheme. We will look into another product. You can see here, mineral products. Mineral products, our Bengaluru nodal zones are all here, 1 to 7. And mineral products, the various ports details are given here, codes. Visakhapatnam, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Bhubaneswar, Chennai, Thiruvananthapuram, it could be anywhere. The FAG group will do it, and they will be doing only mineral products so that it is possible for them. Because we have faced a lot of problems as far as classification and valuation is concerned. It is impossible to look into 5,000 plus commodities which are being imported and assign numbers in the HS classification to come out that this is this, and also followed by the exemption notifications. It will be very difficult, and also to notify anti-dumping duty for a particular product, particular place, or particular manufacturer. So this, when it is specialized, these officers will know the nitty-gritties of each commodity. That is the advantage for both trade, legitimate trade, as well as the department. Here, regarding chemicals, you should be very, very careful. I have already told you about the additional parameters. You can see the groups, different groups assigned for chemical and allied industries, 228, 2A 29, then 2B 30 to 31 products, 2C products of chemical and allied industries, products of chemical and allied industries, products, you can see, go on looking into it. So I think this is a star-studded one, and more complications are there. That's why it is spread out commodity-wise so that each officer will be able to manage things in a better way. And here you have the Mumbai 2 handling this, followed by the commissionerates there. Textile products, convener is Delhi. Nodal zones are 1 to 7 there. Textile products, again, two groups are there, 3 and 3A. 3 looks after 50 to 70, 3A 71, gems and jewelers. That's also brought here into the textile area. Then metal products, convener is Ahmedabad. Ferrous based metals, non-ferrous based metals have been divided and taken up. Ahmedabad is the new convener here. Similarly, mechanical machineries. For that, we have 3 groups, 5E and 5N. They are placed as accordingly indicated here. These are all mechanical machineries. Any commodity cannot be done in a kind of a isolated way or in a tight cornered way. So it will be spreading over, kindly look in. And here electrical machineries, convener is Chennai, and we have 3 groups here, 5A, 5C, 5M, where they are going to be expertises. One is electrical machinery, communication and related equipments, 5C, communication equipments. And if it is microelectronics, this is the 5M group. And you have automobiles, instruments, miscellaneous products. This is another very big group, homogeneous, heterogeneous group, trying to become homogeneous by specializing in vehicles, aircrafts, vessels, instruments, miscellaneous products. So by this classification, you're seeing that we have reduced from 11 to 8. Not only that, we have housed them in a comfortable way so that faster clearance takes place and it is easy. Friends, I'm coming to the end of my talk. I think it is always prepared for the growth before growing, it is said. We have given sufficient time, but still we need to prepare ourselves for a better performance. And it's the game we are performing together. Kindly note, we are partners in progress. If we win, we will win. It is not department wins. It's the country which has to win economically. With that, thank you everyone for having given me a patient hearing. Thank you, all the senior officers, all the listeners, all my friends from the trade. May God bless every one of you.
Thank you, sir, for your detailed presentation. And I'm sure that majority of the doubts in the minds of our audience were clear with the presentation. Now we will move on to the question and answer session. to proceed with question and answer session along with our faculty, Sri Kodandram, Assistant Commissioner, retired. We have also invited Srimati Namrata Singh, IRS, Deputy Commissioner of Customs, Air Cargo Complex, Bengaluru. We thank you for your gracious presence on this occasion. Now let us look at the questions in the chat box. Sir, we will see the questions in the chat box. From chat box, we will answer directly.
I think someone should look into the chat box. If it is something to do with policy and day-to-day work, it should be taken. If something to do with my knowledge, I will do it.
Yeah, sir. I think ma'am, Namrata Singh ma'am is there, she will take it. One Mr. Prasad, ma'am, 321 MS Prasad, he asked about questions. When FTA benefit is availed in import for some cases, it is not taking faceless assessment. Even the importer himself is a AEO Tier 2 holder, even in terms of being a AEO T2 exporter and e-seal process, most of the time shipping bills when filed going for physical examination. What additional precaution to be taken care by the exporter or importer to take the faceless assessment in the regular trade practice?
Oh, I can take this question.
Yeah, ma'am.
So the first part of the question where it says that FTA benefit is availed and it is not taking faceless. So I want to clarify that all bills of entry are invariably marked to faceless assessment. So there is no discretion at that end. But what happens is that in some cases, RMS puts a very detailed, very specific instruction for a 4-stage country of origin verification based on the Carota rules 2020. So in those cases, like Sir had already also covered in his presentation, that if it is taking longer time, then as per the circular also, the FAG group pushes the bill to the local port for taking up the detailed verification and if required, provisional assessment. So these are the cases. It's not that system is not taking, but it is pushed to PAG for detailed verification. And this has been discussed a lot in the NACs. And one solution to this that has come up is that we can, but sometimes what happens is RMS is putting the same instruction even though the detailed verification has already taken place because nobody has given that feedback to RMCC. So what can be done in these cases is that one query is raised to the importer, and in case the importer is aware that for the same goods, for the same manufacturer, identical goods as per the Carota rules, a verification has already taken place, he can reply to the query. This will help both faster assessment without pushing to PAG. And second, the FAG will then give this feedback to RMCC so that this particular alert gets removed. I hope that answers the first part.
Yeah,
And
you have answered very well because that is the only way left. We have to inform the department while filing at the bill of entry itself. For this particular one, it is already over. That should be communicated. Then the bill of entry will be easily moving to other places. So it should be communicated to the department. I think for this, we may also try to give, if already done, some indications we can do as a drop down menu in the bill of entry in the days to come, so that it could be improvised. And if it is already done, they can put that order number or whatsoever. Even this can be used for SVB purposes. That's my opinion.
right. And for the second part of the question, so there is no faceless assessment in export. First. Second is that he says that AEO Tier 2 exporter and e-seal and shipping bill going for examination. So even though the idea of AEO program is higher percentage of facilitation, due to other factors, your bill could be picked up for assessment and or examination, depends on the risk categorization, which is based on a predetermined factors in the system. So in these cases, it could be that it was marked for physical examination. So depends on the category of the product, your importer, the country to which you are exporting, etc. So I hope that answers this question. Sir, can add anything to this?
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead. That will do.
One Mr. Magesh KM at 3:48 p.m. If there is a delay in releasing a bill of entry under faceless assessment, and if the officer is on leave or non-available for longer time, is there any mechanism to redirect the request to another officer to enable speedy release of the shipment?
So I can take this question also.
ma'am.
See, the controlling officers invariably are aware of the leave period. So suppose my appraiser is on leave, I am regularly reallocating the bills. That mechanism is there in the system. You can reallot the bills or pending in one ID to another ID citing the leave period. If at times it happens that it has skipped or one particular bill gets stuck, you can always approach the TSK of the local port with your grievance and also raise a grievance on the AEM, anonymized grievance mechanism. And once that TSK forwards it to the respective faceless group, they are cognizant of the issue and immediately it gets reallocated. So the answer is yes, there is already a mechanism in system for reallocating a bill which is stuck with an officer who is on leave.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. One Mr. Kamlesh Singh. I am writing to see guidance on the procedure for obtaining the test report after the provisional assessment of cargo, wherein sample was sent to the custom. I think Sir has explained well this one when he is taking the session. Sir, you can whether you can clarify this doubt, sir.
Repeat that question. Who has written it? Kamlesh Singh?
One Mr. Kamlesh Singh.
For
He is
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Yes, sir.
I am Kamlesh, 4 p.m.
Yes, sir.
I am writing to seek guidance on the procedure for obtaining the test report after the provisional assessment of cargo. If for want of test reports, if there is a provisional assessment ordered, then the concerned government authorized agency, the sample will be sent by the customs department only. It is not party, is nothing to do with it, and it will be sent through official channel to them, and it is the duty of that concerned person or PGA. They are also participating in our thing to give. I don't think there is any need of any further guidance in this, except drawing of the samples is the concern of the officer who is examining it. He may not be having the proficiency of all PGAs. So if it is a food product, he may take the help of a person from the FSI, or if it is a drugs, he may take a help of a Narcotics Bureau. If it's a plant quarantine, from a plant quarantine officer, depending upon the specialization, he can seek the help of them, draw samples, send it to the authorized laboratories only through the customs formations. It is not to be sent through custom brokers or private agencies. Kindly note. Other than that, I think we will not be, because it's a general question. The party may be asked to look into all circulars pertaining to samples, how to draw and all that. And it is, if there is any specific doubts are there of a particular situation, kindly bring it to the senior most man in the port so that it can be addressed immediately.
Yes, sir. One again, Mr. Kamlesh Singh only, 4:08 p.m. I am seeking clarification regarding the exemption of bank. I think, sir, this one is not related to today's topic.
You are right. Bank guarantee details are all available online. Kindly visit our
notifications are there.
Website. I think that website number URL I have given, or even if you go to Google and type AEO, immediately departments AEO GOV in will come. Kindly look in there. All the details have been given. Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One Mala, dear sir, 421. What is the TAT for moving bill of entry to PAG if respective officer is on leave? Ma'am can explain this one.
Yeah, I'll take this question. I am assuming TAT means turnaround time. And moving BOE to PAG. So the circular, the master circular and the instruction which brought in the faceless assessment, that is 9 of 2020, they only envisage 3 specific circumstances for moving a bill of entry to PAG. That is also after approval of the jurisdictional joint or additional commissioner. So officer being on leave is not one such reason for which a bill should be taken from FAG and moved to PAG, because this will open it to all kinds of misuse. So like we explained in the previous query also, in these cases, you bring it to the notice of the TSK so that reallotment can be done. but BOE cannot be moved to PAG for a reason of officer being on leave.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay. One Mr. Rajendra Kumar Megrotra, 4:28 p.m. It is suggested that IDs of CB should be hidden at the FAG end. Customs brokers' IDs must be available. This and all. Okay.
I think Madam will be able to address this easily.
Ma'am, sir, this one not related to our topic of.
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to say is that when the CB is a name and everything, then what is faceless, etc.
The use of the faceless assessment.
Yeah, but then invariably it's a IceGate ID and the PAN. So generally, faceless officers will not go around decoding it if that is your worry. And a lot of the times what happens is the supporting documents uploaded are also countersigned unnecessarily by the custom broker. It's like an invite to contact them. So I think we all officers understand the meaning of faceless assessment is anonymization, and all communications are strictly electronic through ISIS. No, there is no offline communication at all. Even if a hearing has to be given, it is through virtual modes communicated by the way of query. So this suggestion, I think, is unnecessary at the moment.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, on Mr. Purushothaman, 4:55 p.m. Once after first check examination for second hand and used goods, the CE certificate is getting uploaded. However, the officer assessing the bill of entry without enhancing the value as certified by the piece, as certificate provided by CE. During request for reassessment, the officer imposing for a fine for reassessment. Request officer to permit imposing without imposing fine.
So I'll take this question. Yeah, it's a request. It's not a question. So
yeah, there's no specific in this one, ma'am. They have given generalized question in this one, ma'am.
Yeah.
Any specific, they can brought to the notice of the
actually,
concern.
yeah, this practice I have also seen. Lot of FAGs actually assess the bill without enhancing value as per CE report. This has also been discussed multiple times in the NACs, and what I've gotten to know is that a lot of officers wait for consent of the importer to enhance value as per CE certificate. Now that might be correct, might not be correct, but I agree to the point that if CE was uploaded and it was not a RMS bill of entry, and the assessment group should have enhanced the value as per the report. So it should be without imposing fine. If there are specific instances or specific FAGs or PAGs which are imposing fine, you can bring it to our notice. We can communicate to them.
Yeah, Mr. One Mr. Kannaya, ma'am, 4:55 p.m. Repair and return shipment being assessed without CE valuation and OOC issued. For recalling of bill of entry of reassessment will take 3 to 4 working days and fine incurred for reassessment.
This is, I think, a similar issue as the previous one. And this is, see, if yours is a return and repair shipment, you should invariably request for a first check examination. Now, suppose you have done that and still FAG has not considered it. Of course, it goes to OOC stage or reassessment as the previous query was asked. So we are highlighting this in the NACs. We are sensitizing the FAGs that wherever first check is required for determining valuation of goods, this should be given instead of directly marking it and leaving it to second check. A lot of FAGs are resorting to second check instead of first. Recalling of bill of entry does not take 3 to 4 days. I do not agree with this. And again, at this port, I can tell you, if the reassessment is not for fault on behalf of the CHA or the importer, no fine is or penalty is levied.
Okay, yes, ma'am. One Mr. Prabhakar Kini, same customer, same commodity, just report and examination is being asked for. Customer is TPD and AED too. What to do? Same, ma'am,
So,
4:57 p.m.
Yeah, I can read the query. Now, suppose there are some test reports for which there is a validity for more than it. Suppose a textile test reports is valid for 6 months, let's say. So it is your responsibility to upload the test report at the time of filing so that no unnecessary query is raised and no examination is given. If you have not uploaded, of course, obviously RMS will flag this issue that test is required for this so-and-so CTH, a query will be raised. So
Yes,
you have to upload that. If you're already in a possession of a valid test report, then you have to upload it. I see a lot of recall requests based on this, that the custom broker just filed the bill in a hurry and could not upload the test report. Now recall and upload the test. So you, if you are in possession of a valid test report, make sure you upload it. This will avoid unnecessary query and examination.
yes, yes. One, Mr. Kitan Sachdev, kindly guide when a bill of entry being given first check examination and also value being enhanced without assessment being done by the FAG officer. What should be done in such a case? Please advise.
So we have covered this before, right? One is we are sensitizing that FAG officers not to check the CE report before finalizing their assessment. Now this, I've been sensitizing trade here at Bangalore Port also. Suppose yours is, you know that this has happened, you can also stop it at the OOC stage. So before OC is given, the shed officer can mark it to the local PAG so that it does not have to go through the reassessment and OC cancellation. So if you have a CH, if you are already aware that your bill of entry has been released without value enhancement, you still have a chance to stop it before OC is issued. So that is my advice.
Yeah. I'm on Jairaj at 5-1. For bulk case imports, bulk cargo imports, bill of entries required to be provisionally assessed as the quantity will be finalized only after final draft survey. When BE is filed by activating first check to assess BE provisionally, many times FAG officer opt for first check or assess the BE finally instead of provisionally. How can situation can be resolved since it delays? Ma'am, this thing they can brought to the knowledge of that.
Yes, TSK and the they can bring it to the knowledge of TSK and raise a grievance. So we can collect all these instances and discuss in the National Assessment Center so that this FAG officers are sensitized regarding this.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on Mr. Magesh KM. We have applied for registration for AEO Tier 1 through online. However, it is not related to today's topic. However, we may inform them to go and contact that concerned officer or.
Yeah, every port has a designated AU officer. They can meet them with their documents and the officer can help them resolve or tell them exactly why it is being rejected, the application.
Yeah. I think no further queries, ma'am. Then, even ma'am, on Mr. M.S. Prasad. Even in case of character, uploading along with the same shipper and same consignee and same material repeatedly not filed on Faceless.
So this is the exact same thing which I have covered before. Suppose your verification is already completed. You bring it to the notice of the assessing officer so that both they can release your goods without pushing it to PAG, and second, we can give a feedback to RMCC to remove this alert, because as long as that alert pops up on RMS, we are kind of bound to complete the 4-stage verification.
Yes, ma'am.
I think Namrata madam has answered very well.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, sir. I think no further queries, ma'am. We'll finish this question and answer session. No further. One, Mr. Jagdish Barik, you are raising hand, but here there is no option to open. You whatever the query you ask in the chat box. Jagdish Barik, you ask your question in the chat box. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We'll this one. We have no further queries. So we have given no. In case of any further question, please forward your question to our mail ID dgts-bangalore@gov.in. You send your questions. If anything, no, then we will get the answer from the expert panelist and we'll forward the answer to you then. Mr. Jagdish Barik, you no need to unmute. You can type in chat box. Similarly, someone asked for that PPT this one, they can make a request to our DGTS mail ID. Some they are asking for recorded session. Recorded session, we will check whether it can be possible. Then we will send it to you or this one. Sir, Mr. Jagdish Barik, you send your query in the chat box. This one to our mail ID. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your this one. Thank you for your gracious presence, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I hope all your doubts have been cleared. Now, before we end this program, it is time to give vote of thanks. I request Sri Girish Narayan, Honorable Secretary, Bangalore Customers Agents Association Limited, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Mr. Girish.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir. Yes. So as we draw towards the end of this fabulous webinar, filled with exhaustive information, I have been bestowed with the responsibility of tendering the vote of thanks. Primarily, I will take this opportunity to thank DGTS Bangalore for taking initiative to organize the webinar on such a wide scale. I'll be failing in my duty if I do not mention that the moment on behalf of Bachal, we placed a request to DGTS Bangalore to conduct a webinar on changes in the faceless assessment. Our Ebenezer sir, our Shastri sir, Gopal Krishna sir, AC, DGTS, they were all very enthusiastic and to conduct the webinar, and within 2 days, no time, everything was organized, and right from the panelists to the guest speakers. The speed and spirit is very much highly laudable and very appreciating one. Thank you very much, sir. I thank our Chief Commissioner of Customs, Bangalore Customs Zone, Madam Usha ji, for inaugurating the webinar and providing the golden guidelines. I thank our Chief Commissioner of Customs, Thiruvananthapuram Zone, Shri Manoj K. Arora sir, for the address and for sharing the valuable feedback. I thank our AGDTS in Bengaluru Zone, Shri R. Manoj sir, for pioneering and extending the huge support to the trade and for promoting the measures put forth by the Customs Department through the webinar and organizing it for the same. I extend my thanks to Shri Uni Krishnan sir, Joint Director FIO, for being part of this webinar. I also extend my warm thanks to Shri Prakash Iyer, Cochin Chamber of Commerce Zone Executive Committee member. And I thank my fellow community partners, Shri Prabhakaran Kini, Philip sir, for being part of this webinar, and also all our community members for being part of this webinar. I thank our expert panelists, Kodanram sir, Madam Namrata madam, for the informative, in-depth and elaborative explanation of the faceless process and its requirements. Hurdles are there, but still we need to move on. As Kodanram sir said, progress has to be made, growth has to be done. So we will be able to mitigate all the other nitty-gritties of the faceless assessment in due course of time, I think. I thank DGTS Bangalore Zone and all the exchange officers of Bangalore Customs Zone and also DGTS officers for their kind support extended towards this webinar. I thank DGTS for providing me an opportunity to be part of this informative webinar. I also thank all the participants, members of the Exim Trade for their kind participation. Thanking one and all, Jai Hind. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Girish.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Now, with the permission of the chair, I declare the session is closed. Thank you one and all for your kind presence. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.